Good afternoon, Lauren. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My first question to you is, what do you like about your work?
So my work as a GIS analyst, I go through a lot of data analysis primarily. However, the key component that makes me a GIS analyst and not a data analyst is the fact that all the data I'm looking at has a spatial component. It's a point, a line, an area that you can put on a map. So a lot of what I do is based in mapping software and also online mapping as well. The main aspect of my job that I love is that I am taking complex data and trying to translate it to non-technical users. So some of it is the public, some of it is people in other departments. So it might be trying to communicate a transport model to an ecologist. You know, they're very, very different technical specialists in their own right, but they both need to be able to understand what is going on in a certain area, whether it's just creating a sort of a crossover between different technical abilities, really, and it's sort of a merging or a bringing together of this real data science and data visualization. So we're trying to, you're always underpinned by real data that is driving everything, but you need to be able to communicate that to people who don't necessarily understand it on face value. So I sort of briefly alluded that we are working with lots of different people. So that means that I have a great diversity of different types of data and different types of people that I'm working with. And that is possibly my favorite aspect of my work, is that I can do one thing. I'll be doing complex ecological calculations, to building dashboards, to modeling noise levels. So it's a real variety across the board. And that's a great part of my job, where I am working with a larger consultancy.
Excellent. Thanks for that. And how did you start out?
So I left school with geography, history, and chemistry A levels. And all I knew was that I liked geography the best. And that if I went and did a geography degree, I would get some good trips out of it. So I was able to go to Tenerife and Switzerland. So I very much just followed what I was passionate about. Now, when I got to university, the breadth of geography opened up in front of me. So you can go down human geography, you can go down physical geography. I personally preferred the physical aspects. So we also then were introduced to something. So I think back when I was at university, I didn't hear of GIS till I got there. I think now a lot of school programs do educate in school about GIS. So when I got to university, I sort of came across that, and I realized that actually my sort of math skills that I had, even though I didn't take maths A level, I had a good basis of math skills from doing the physical geography aspect. So when I finished my degree, I thought GIS is the route I'd like to go down. Again, just following what I was interested in and what I'd enjoyed most from my university degree. So when I left, I started to search for jobs. I went to a careers fair, actually, not at my own university. I stole away to another university's careers fair because it was open to all. And they had a few companies that I thought looked interesting. So I'd heard of different engineering consultancies, and I knew that being able to work with them, I would get a variety of understanding. So I went along, met a lady who worked for Jacobs, and she worked in GIS, and I applied for an internship with them, which I did not get. I ended up then applying for a different role. I applied for a graduate transport planner role because they do a lot of GIS within their team. So I applied for that role, which I did get. And then I started a 2-year graduate program in transport planning, at the end of which I said, I've really specialized in GIS within transport planning. Would it be possible for me to move across to the GIS team? And the business said, we fully encourage people to move teams and diversify, because you bring new knowledge wherever you go. So they supported me after finishing the graduate program to move across to the GIS team, which is now geospatial, because that is more of a rounded term for what we do. And I haven't looked back since, really.
Excellent. And how? What would you say to someone starting out today?
Starting out today, I would say that as GIS has developed so quickly, we are very, very reliant on new technologies. You have to stay up to date with what is going on with technology and how you can apply it. So I obviously did a geography degree. When we're looking for interns or graduates to employ, we look for geography degrees still, but we're also starting to look more for maths degrees or computer science degrees, because there is such a heavy element of programming and data science behind the scenes. But the geography element is still very, very important, like I said, with the visual aspects and bringing that technical knowledge to non-technical people. So I would say, if any of those sound like they're up your street, then go down one of those routes, and any of them will open up a path into GIS for you. But make sure that if you're doing computer science, keep your eye on geographical technologies and spatial technologies, or if you're doing geography, focus on the maths, the data side of it. So both of those types of degrees will give you that breadth to be able to look at that crossover that we sort of sit in as GIS analysts.
Yeah.